Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to have Ben Edmond, CEO and founder of Connectbase, on the show today. Ben, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. I really appreciate the opportunity to connect with you today.
Yeah, great having you on. So let's start this off. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. My background is really centered around the connectivity industry. I started very early in my career. In fact, day one out of undergrad college with a company called MCI in the times in the mid 90s, and really never looked back. Been in the industry, throughout my entire career, from MCI to a competitive fiber provider in the southern United States. We were building 40 markets in 40 months in the dot-com bubble bursting fun times of late 90s, early 2000s. Stayed through that whole process until they sold in 2006 to a company called TW Telecom at the time. Went on to build big fiber networks at FiberLight, bought and aggregated networks at Global Capacity as their chief revenue officer, and recognized through all that there was a big opportunity to help the industry transform and digitize how they buy and sell.
Okay. And so your background, in kind of telecom fiber, and did you come out of undergrad, say business, or on the technical side? What was your educational side?
Yeah, I was on the business side, so I had a finance and international business background, but joined on the sales side of MCI and stayed in sales, for the first 6 years of my career, and then made the transition to product management, where I spent a number of years and then grew up through the ranks to run the marketing and ended up running sales and marketing overall.
Okay, great. And so tell us a little bit about what Connectbase does.
Sure. So we're a cloud platform built for the connectivity industry. So think of connectivity providers that deliver broadband services, wireless services, connect businesses together. We help them understand their total addressable market at a location level with context around demand and supply. And on top of that market insights platform, we deliver workflow that digitizes the selling process and transforms it with the insight provided from the market data platform that we have. And we also have a buyer's cloud that helps digitize and transform how connectivity is bought in the industry, managing the suppliers, automating the quote response, and really helping elevate the customer experience out there around buying connectivity.
Okay. And so for those of us who are not, a deep dive into the telecom fiber industry, who would be a customer of yours on the platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. So most of our customers are deep in the business of selling connectivity for a living. And for all those who don't know, it's a very capital intensive industry. So there's 2,319 physical fiber owners just in the United States, over 11,000 of them around the world. There's over 1,900 fixed wireless providers that also operate in the United States, and hundreds of mobile wireless providers on top of that, from satellite to 5G to LTE. And that big ecosystem is the core of our customer base. And ultimately what we see out there is it's both the physical operators as well as what we call managed service providers, service providers that buy from these network operators, package it up and manage it with other things like UCaaS or managed security, but deliver connectivity for a living. Those two groups make up about 75-80% of our customer base. The rest of the customer base are people that care immensely about connectivity and are associated with the industry, like data center operators, tower companies, cloud companies that are dependent on connectivity for their overall business model.
Okay, so interesting. So customers are the actual guys who are putting the fiber in the ground.
That is right.
And own that fiber. And then you said more on the services side. So then would that be like the resellers who are reselling on those networks?
Bars, managed services, they might take positions and have some of their own network, but absolutely.
Okay. Really, really interesting. And you said about what? Well, you know exactly 2,319 fiber owners in the
Yeah, from a
U.S.
physical operator
Physical
perspective,
operator, yeah.
just over 11,000 of them around the world. Some markets very fragmented, like the United States. Some markets not fragmented at all.
Hmm.
But the world has a lot of geography in it. So in a capital-intensive industry, it takes lots of actors to actually build out the connectivity.
So I'm guessing you know those numbers pretty well. So customer base is pretty global or U.S.
It's
based, or?
Yeah, it's definitely, we started in the US, so we have a majority of our customers coming from here. But today we serve customers in Europe, Latin America, Asia, in addition to the Americas here.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And so what year did you found Connectbase?
At the end of 2015, so we're 7 years in and growing quickly and having fun.
And so, right, your title, CEO and founder, so sole founders. So coming up through, sounds like the corporate world, what did you see where it's like, hey, I've got an idea, it looks great, I'm just going to make that jump and start a company? What was the genesis or trigger to push you to move to a founder status?
Yeah, a number of triggers, but it really centers around, I've always found a way to grow, faster than the average company, in the businesses that I was in. And it usually meant, my team and I having to figure out different data elements, multiple systems, trying to gain competitive advantage through knowledge and process and flow. And after doing it for 20 years and realizing that there wasn't a system built for how the connectivity industry works to go monetize connectivity, I thought it was a big opportunity to help people in an industry I've been in from day one and knew I could solve.
Okay. Yeah, no, interesting. And, so making that deep dive into 2015, and then where is your company primarily located?
We're headquartered just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in a suburb called Westborough.
Okay. And most of the staff there, or is it remote or a mix?
It's a mix, about 50-50. We have 50% in the immediate area and 50% working out of their home wherever they are.
Okay. And what's your team size today?
Today we have 82 team members in the US. We have team members overseas as well. Number about 40, and continue to grow.
Okay. And so is this a product that requires, say, heavy dev engineering work, or is it
about half of our team is engineering?
Okay.
A lot of data, very intensive data platform, and a SaaS platform on top of that data platform. API first architecture to drive an integrated reality that most software companies are in today. But yeah, absolutely, it's a engineering oriented company.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And then anything you want to share around your scale, ARR range, or anything there?
We're less than 100 million and more than one, but growing.
Okay.
We've made the Inc. 5000 the last 2 years. We just did a nice round and trying to build momentum out there.
Okay, excellent. And tell us about your go-to-market motion. Is it outbound sales? How are you getting these safe fiber operators?
Yeah, it's great. So it's really a sales and marketing motion that's led from education first around, there is a more effective way to go monetize the assets you're putting in the ground. It's an outside sales team today of 8 team members that go out and acquire new customers, and an additional 4 that focus on the existing customer base in a land and expand model to build trust and introduce new capabilities. We have 8 workflow and use cases on top of the market insights platforms. We typically don't sell everything day one. We establish trust, build relationships, and expand over time.
Okay. And then you just raised a Series C for 21 million. How much capital have you raised to date now?
The total has been $48 million, including the 21 that we just raised.
Okay. And with that latest raise, what were the triggers or milestones or just maybe needs in your business that said, hey, I think it's time to raise a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
What did you see that said, hey, we're ready for this?
I think there's a number of key triggers, all centered around understanding that we've proven fit. Now it's really time to prove scale and go deliver scale. So, getting across the $10 million ARR mark, starting to get not just some, but today we serve 28 of the top 30 infrastructure operators in the U.S. So it's the large, the medium, and the small.
Mhm.
So proving that we can serve a larger audience of customers and a long tail of physical operators and managed service providers, and having strong NDR and customer loyalty and feedback of wanting us to go solve bigger problems.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting because, right, depends on the stage, but you're maybe not really early stage where it's like, hey, we've got product market fit, we've got nice revenue growth, we've got marquee customers, and you mentioned strong net dollar retention.
Yep.
So a lot of different factors where things that sound like we're working in your favor and now raise. And this capital, how are you deploying it? Is it still like putting a lot into engineering, putting into sales and marketing, both?
It's really both. We
Okay.
still have a ambitious roadmap in front of us. Really trying to transform the broader connectivity market of how it gets bought and sold out there across all the channels. But we're ready to invest in our go-to-market team and grow that team so we can reach more of the managed service providers, global operators, and continue to drive success.
That's great. And so you've raised a decent amount of money. I'm sure there's some lessons learned raising 48 million. So for the founders, executives listening, any lessons that you've learned along the way, tips and tricks, with your experience through fundraising?
Yeah, no real nuggets of wisdom other than luck favors the prepared, and really understand where your strengths are and hone in on that. You can't be all things to all people. Pick your investors wisely and have a core belief that you're doing something meaningful and go and make it happen. And that's what we've done to date.
And with the investors on board, I mean, are these investors who have a lot of knowledge, experience in your specific industry versus, say, investors in like a CRM product for SaaS, versus, much different than, say, what you're doing and trying to accomplish?
Yeah, no, especially in a vertical platform like ours, I think investor knowledge is an important attribute to focus on, just not only to get the raise done, but for the long-term health and success of the business and the relationship. And we've been fortunate to find the right investors to partner with and continue to believe that we're doing something special and wanting to invest in us.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. And so as we wrap up here, what's next for your company? What's coming up that's exciting on the horizon for Connectbase?
I think it boils down to three things. First, growth in terms of not just the revenue, the team, but geographic growth. We're going to make a concerted effort to reach out to the world and make sure we're being purposeful on how to drive automation there. We have some exciting roadmaps. We had our customer summit in Boston last week. Over 200 providers flew into Boston to collaborate with us for 2.5 days and deep dive in the roadmap and things like, automating the ability to plan your network, understand what the market opportunity is, identify the risk in building fiber. Things like railroad crossings are not good for fiber builds. So knowing those things in real time before you put capital out there or set expectations in milliseconds is what we've been working on. Introducing capabilities to really drive the standards of integration of systems is a big part of our message in 2023 to help drive that integrated state across not just our platform, but the other platforms doing other functions across the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Yeah, exciting stuff. Always fun having customers in and getting that real-time feedback. So Ben, really appreciate your time today, sharing your story. If listeners want to learn more about Connectbase, where should we send them online?
Yeah, the best way to go is to our website. It's www.connectbase.com. Welcome the chance to have people look around and learn more.
All right, so check out connectbase.com if you'd like to learn more. And again, Ben, thanks for sharing your story. Really interesting background and continued success.
Thanks a lot, Ben. I appreciate it.